Is Friday the 13th really unlucky? Or is it just one of history's most successful fear stories? Because millions of people know this date, fear this date, and avoid this date. Yet nobody can point to one single moment and say, that is exactly where the fear began. And honestly, that's what makes the story more interesting. When something goes wrong on Friday the 13th, people notice it. They remember the bad meeting, the canceled flight, the argument, the accident, the weird, unlucky day. But when nothing happens, most people forget it completely. And that is how superstition grows. Not because the date itself does anything, but because people keep attaching fear to it. That is the first important truth. The date itself did nothing. Friday the 13th is not dangerous because a calendar says so. It became powerful because people kept repeating the idea that it was. So if we want to understand this superstition, we have to stop looking at the date itself and start looking at the stories people built around it. And those stories did not begin with Friday the 13th as one complete idea. They began separately. Friday already had heavy associations, and 13 already made people uneasy. So the fear was built in pieces first, before the pieces were finally pushed together. In Christian tradition, Friday was associated with sorrow because Jesus was believed to have been crucified on that day. And the number 13 also picked up dark associations. At the Last Supper, there were 13 people at the table. So over time, some people began connecting Friday with grief and 13 with tension, betrayal, or misfortune. Whether every belief was logical did not really matter. What mattered was that people kept passing the story on. Then there is the dramatic story people love to point to. On Friday, October 13, 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of many members of the Knights Templar. It was a real event, a real Friday, a real 13th, and a real moment of betrayal and imprisonment. That made it the perfect historical scene to attach to the superstition. But historians do not treat this as the one proven origin of Friday the 13th. It is better understood as one powerful story that helped the fear feel deeper and more believable. By the 19th century, the idea had clearly entered popular culture. In an 1858 French play, a character complained that he had been unlucky all his life because he had been born on Friday the 13th. That tells us something important. By then, the superstition was already familiar enough to be used in storytelling. And once a belief enters theater, drama, and public imagination, it starts becoming more than a belief. It becomes part of culture. Then, books, newspapers, and print culture helped spread it even further. A novel called Friday the 13th pushed the date deeper into public imagination. And once stories like that began circulating, the superstition grew louder. Not because the date had changed, because the story had. Now fear had media behind it. And eventually, Friday and 13 stopped being separate shadows. They fused into one symbol, Friday the 13th. Then films, televisions, headlines, and pop culture took over. The date became bigger than superstition. It became an icon, a symbol of fear, a shortcut for bad luck, a story people already recognized before it even began. And that is how an ordinary date becomes unforgettable. Not through proof, through repetition. So, is Friday the 13th really unlucky? Maybe the better answer is this. It is not powerful because of what the date is. It is powerful because of what people keep saying about it. That is how superstitions work. A story gets repeated, a symbol gets loaded with fear, and eventually people stop questioning it. So maybe Friday the 13th is not really a curse. Maybe it is only one of the best examples of how humans can turn a simple story into something that feels real. See you in the next video.